And welcome to Imagination Fun Time. I am your host, Brandon Devine, and I am so excited because today is my second episode with a guest, and my first guest with me in person. I'm very excited. I've known this man for all of a little over a year now. He has been a bit of a mentor to me, a bit in this strange, obscene world of stand-up comedy. And when I say obscene, it's usually me the one saying obscene things. Your guest today, my friend, the world's greatest bald comedian, Conrad Lenzmeier.
Oh, hey, thanks, Brandon. Honored to be your mentor. Honored to tell you to do stuff that you don't do. Good to be part of your development and growth as a person. And it's good to be here facing the same directions and talking to a computer screen.
I'm starting to learn how to make fun of myself on stage instead of just getting up there like making fun of everything.
Isn't that what I've been telling you to do the whole fucking time?
Yeah, but like I learned.
Alright, you're at 1 year. That means I'm done being like less than honest with advice. It means that like once you're at 1 year going to open mics consistently, it means I can basically tell you anything and you'll keep coming.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I'm not stopping. I first decided to want to be in the world of entertainer when I was 18, and that was 12 almost 13 years ago. So I'm still going.
Hell yeah.
So I don't think I'm giving up.
Hell yeah.
All right, so Conrad, my first question for you is, I think what whoever meets you always wants to know is, why the bald look? It is a very bold look. The NoHo Hank look from Barry. It's such a unique, bold choice. What made you choose it?
Yeah, that guy took my job, and it wasn't a choice. And nor was I born like this. It came on gradually. Maybe I should quit vaping. I don't know.
Just the damn vapes, dude.
Yeah, no, it could be that, but I haven't stopped. So.
Nah. So you've been doing stand-up comedy for how many years now?
I've been doing like regular ass stand up for about 5 years now.
5 years. So you started probably like 2018?
17, 18, something like that.
Okay, so that was around the time I was living in Los Angeles. It was around for me, like I first performed middle of November 2022 at Nomads. That was my first ever stand-up set. So that was about almost a year and a half-ish ago.
Yeah, I don't remember because by now I've blocked it out. I recorded like the 10th set, and even those sucked.
I remember that.
I remember like it was funny because it's like I see people now and like they were there for when I first started, and they're giving me words of kind of encouragement, like, dude, when you first started, it was awkward as shit, and now it's okay. And I'm like, wow, thank you.
I mean, it's stand-up comedy. This is what I'm learning. It's always awkward as shit. It's like...
Well,
it's just like...
It isn't always awkward as shit. It's just that, like... The progress is relatively slow. Especially if you don't have an intentional plan. Because it's really unnatural to get up and talk to people.
It really is. It's also kind of unnatural, like when two people just sit and talk to a recording app.
In an empty room while my girlfriend sits in the corner.
All right. No,
I like this one though because you won't get flagged for copyright. That's my problem. I always host my shit in like random places, restaurants and crap, and it always gets flagged for copyright. I haven't gotten anything taken down though. I also haven't tried to monetize it.
Well, that's the best thing that's one of the great things about podcasts. I mean, unless you get to like, the top of the world where like everyone in the world who listens to podcasts is listening to you, then yeah, maybe you'll get some stuff taken down. Maybe you might get flagged for some things, but for the most part, it's just like no one's going to most people aren't going to sit and scroll through every single solitary podcast looking for like some sort of copyrighted phrase, word, like mention of a business or something like that to be like, oh, they owe me money.
No, I mean, I worry about the day that anybody actually does need to get a hold of me because I've just been putting myself out there. It's like if I had any problem that I didn't know about, the U.S. Marshals, like, I sincerely doubt I could get them to like come serve a warrant to me at my fucking shows. It's hard out here.
We would protect you.
No, you
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah, we would.
No,
No,
you wouldn't.
not a chance. Not a chance in hell. No,
There he is.
they'd be like, "Who's Conrad Lenzmeier?" I'd be like, "That guy
No,
over there,
wrong one.
over there." Do not.
Obviously.
I have nothing to do with whatever he did. So yeah, like, when you started stand-up comedy, that was probably around the time I was living in Los Angeles. It was in LA that I first got the, I guess the somewhat inkling of like, oh, maybe I could possibly do stand-up. For me, it came about, I got into entertainment, wanting to be an actor, still want to be an actor, always will want to be a successful actor, in some way.
You don't want to be a failure of an actor. Who's your favorite failure?
Who's
of
my
an actor? Who's your favorite almost made it guy?
almost made it guy? That's a good question.
John Travolta's brother? I don't know.
The first thing that comes to my mind is Quentin Tarantino's father.
What?
Dude, yeah, like his father, like Tarantino grew up without his real dad. Like his real dad just bounced in his life when he was a real youngster, and just was never there. And then like tried to come around to Quentin when he was famous and like started making in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And then apparently he started doing like straight to like DVD and VHS movies and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
And like trying to capitalize on his son's success.
That's a really good answer. I thought that was a hard question.
It was a hard question, and I was struggling there. And then, like, my autistic brain was just like going through like the computer like mindset of me of like going through every file. I'd be like, I have an answer somewhere, some vague answer. For me, like when I in Los Angeles, what made me realize I thought about doing stand-up was when I worked on a TV show called I'm Dying Up Here. Did you watch it? Okay, so it's a Showtime series. It lasted for 2 seasons, and it's loosely based on the Comedy Store in the 70s. And just, like, comedians in the 70s, and, like, just watching that show and so I worked on that set for its entire second season as a comedy club patron. So I was there, like, between, like, it was between 15 and 20 days of working on that show, just being there in the comedy club, and like the actors and characters were always doing sets and stuff like that. And then then I started watching the show, and then I just realized like, oh, comedians are like all just dark, fucked up people just trying to make sense out of life. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of like a lot of struggling actors too, like just like wanting some sort of acceptance in like the arms of strangers. And
I've also noticed that actors are like pound for pound way more detached from reality.
Oh yeah,
Marginally. Well, I don't know. I've met enough comedians. I guess it's a lot of faking it.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. No, like in Los Angeles, like knowing people who are actors was like we're all like I met great friends out there. Like when you're on set and stuff like that. Hey man, what are you doing?
Good.
We're just doing a podcast.
Yeah, we're talking to ourselves over here.
We're just talking to random people on the internet because we have nothing else to do in our lives.
What's your turnover time on how to like display this? Are you just recording it straight to this thing? And
I always just
record it back up?
I always just record it, and then I can just upload it. I just save it, and I can just upload it, and it uploads within like 5 minutes of me publishing it. It's pretty cool.
Or nothing. Dang, that sounds pretty dope.
Yeah.
Audio only. All right.
I haven't, because I'm broke because I spend all my money either on weed or clothes or rent or stuff like that.
Yes.
So just, I haven't figured out like how, I'm still learning this podcast game. That's one of my biggest goals of 2024 is I want to keep doing this more.
I got a couple notes. I don't know. It seems like you're a repository of information. I mean, that's definitely going to your benefit. The only thing I'd say is like, the rig that I got costs like, it's like $500. It would work seamlessly with the thing that you got right now. It's what I use to record all my clips.
Oh yeah, your podcast in a bag.
Yeah, the Crown Royal bag.
The Crown Royal bag. We always got lots of those at work.
No, I mean, like what colors though?
What colors of bags?
My girlfriend's over it. All right.
One cool thing that Conrad and I have in common is Conrad, at some point last year in 2023, he went out to Los Angeles to do a comedy fantasy camp. And he ended up actually staying on the same little block where I lived for a year and a half of my life.
Dude, that was rad. I could totally do it. Minus the parking and all the people and
minus the parking,
traffic.
all the people, the traffic.
The weather was great, and there's a lot of things to do. I think the coolest part of that was like watching the Jimmy Kimmel show before I go to bed, knowing that it's like getting filmed like 2 blocks away.
Oh, dude, yeah, like that was one of the coolest things ever. That was definitely one of the coolest things living in LA is, I'm not so much anymore just because I've really grown out of watching. I evolved from watching, talk show clips into watching podcasts and listening to podcasts. But
I guess that's a different thing too. I guess the only reason I was watching Jimmy Kimmel shows because the hotel had cable.
My apartment did not have cable. We could not afford cable. Actually, for 6 months when I was living there, I was stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi. And then just one day, I just go to the grocery store for like 20 minutes, not even thinking of anything. I come back and the Wi-Fi is like turned off, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I go and I talk to him. He's like, "Yeah, I changed it. I know you've been stealing it." And he's still my buddy, and I still love him. And I still talk to him, but he's like, "Yeah, you can't use my Wi-Fi anymore." I'm like, "Fuck!" And then I had to pay for your own Wi-Fi. I fucking hated it. Just another bill that had to be paid.
Bills are great.
Bills are great, especially when I had to have like a guy come out and like install like a line and stuff like that. It was such a pain in the ass, and like literally 3 months later, I got kicked out of that apartment.
Perfect.
It was perfect. It was awesome.
Or at least the next guy will get charged with the setup fee.
It was some family moved in. I mean, dude, living in that apartment was like the epitome of like the dirt poor artist apartment. Like it was owned by the lease of the apartment
was the place right across the street from the hotel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I can see that.
That orange building,
it's like practically in an alleyway right behind the Lowe's.
No Randall Shreve this evening?
Huh?
Randall Shreve?
No, he canceled today.
No, yeah, it was a cancellation and stuff like that.
We're by no means the replacement.
We are no means a replacement. We're just using.
Come on.
Well, I didn't bring my guitar.
We're just using.
Yeah.
We're just using the space
or
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, he and his brother both are such slouches,
I don't know about that. No, get in on this. No, like what's the deal? What's the deal with Randall Shreve?
They're great, yeah. I love them both.
I mean, I don't know. They've been performing consistently in this area since I moved here.
When'd you get here?
When I had hair, like
when you had hair
12 years ago, yeah.
Well,
that's a great
13
timeline.
years ago, and my brother had that shop, and in the back of his shop, there at his house, I had a whole box of T-shirts, the Brothers Shreve.
Yeah. I didn't know he played with his brother.
They did?
I've never seen him with his brother.
Well, maybe that's why.
God dang.
Maybe he's
with
his brother tonight. Maybe that's why he had to cancel his performance.
There you go. We'd like to think that.
I don't know. Weekly residency here. I've never canceled that for any reason.
I haven't even heard them mention each other, so I don't know what the deal is.
Probably some family
I
stuff.
don't know. Y'all have a good evening.
Absolutely.
All right, man. You too.
Sorry to disappoint you, pal.
Oh, no. You couldn't just leave it. You got a present.
We appreciate that.
That's too much.
But anyways, back to when I lived in that apartment. It was
talking about the VIP hotel right behind the Lowe's Hollywood.
Yep.
For those of y'all wanting to Google Maps this thing, yeah, we're talking about like 1 square block in an alleyway.
It's called Orchid Avenue. It's behind the Hollywood Highlands, literally behind the Hollywood Highlands shopping center at Hollywood and Highland, which is like the Times Square, basically, of Los Angeles, where all the tourists are at. It is lively 24 hours.
Very few homeless people when I was there. It was crazy. Like,
I
only saw one guy wearing a hospital gown for pants out there. It was crazy.
Only one?
Only one.
Dude, at first.
And he wasn't kind of a street performer. He was just a regular, distressed, perhaps escaped guy.
I would sit outside in the stoop of the apartment a lot, with my neighbors, and I would just smoke weed and just hang out and stuff like that. And there were many times they were just like out of control. Like no one ever like came up to us and did anything, but I remember one homeless guy just walking down the street, just screeching and he just kept walking and just screeching like a demon. One homeless guy like started yelling, actually trying to fight some people hanging out at the VIP hotel. My favorite ones I remember though were in the apartment, literally not in my actual apartment, but in my building. My very first day living there, like my first morning waking up there after I moved in the day prior, I woke up, made myself a cup of coffee, rolled a nice fat joint. I was going to go outside and just sit on the stoop and have a morning smoke. And I go into the stairwell, I open the door, and there's just a passed out homeless guy, like a gnarly, dirty homeless guy, like fly.
Disgusting, filthy human being.
I mean, morally probably. Physically, yes. Oh my God.
Sure.
It was, I mean, there's just all sorts of trash
Barnacles.
around. There's basically barnacles, trash.
Nest of garbage. And
he was just passed out on the stairwell.
On the throne of poop.
And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, like, I was because I was like kind of terrified. Like, if I
walk around him, or
yeah, because I kind of wanted to like poke him with a stick and be like, "Yo, what's up? Like, what are you doing?"
Bad.
Yeah, I was terrified. I was like, "Is this guy going to attack me?" So
were you a stick in hand with that thought?
No.
All right.
I don't know where I would have gotten a stick either.
I'd say if you were stick in hand with that thought and he woke up, you might get attacked anyway. Good thing you got that stick though.
So I pulled the classic white boy move. I called the police and been like, "Hey, there's a dirty homeless guy in my apartment. Can you come get him?" Which is like,
this is in your. Oh fuck.
Oh no, he's like in the building. Like he's like in the building, in a stairwell, and like it's a locked door with a combination, the front door to the apartment. So like it was weird how he got in there. But and then after like classic LAPD, they came very swiftly about 2 hours later.
Yep.
And then they literally just dragged the guy out, and I think they just like shoot him onto the street and be like, "Yo, get off you, get off." And he was just like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." And then one day, after a while living there, I was going out in my car in the garage, and the dumpster was down in the garage too, where everyone just put their trash. And I taking our trash down with us, and I just toss it in there and keep walking. And as I'm walking, I hear someone say, "Ow, what the fuck?" And I just
Oscar the Grouch moment.
I just keep on walking. I did not even look behind me to notice. I was just like, dude, I don't even want to look in there to see.
I'm sleeping here.
Yeah, I know you're sleeping there, dude. Why?
Was it in the alleyway with the big high wall, or?
No, it was behind the garage door gate.
Okay.
It was behind the garage door gate, the garage gate to the building. So he somehow got in there, probably hopped the fence, and just man. But Los Angeles is such a crazy city, and there are many things about it I do miss. And I'm sure you had a really good time out there. You got to perform at the Improv.
The homeless? Oh, yeah. No, I got to perform for a bunch of rich people that could afford to pay thousands of dollars to go to the first open mic. That doesn't sound like a glowing recommendation for the experience, but if you're already in it, then you know if you are. I mean, you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it unless you have. And I guess maybe I had too much money, but no. I mean, I don't know. It was cool to see people at the end of the journey. It didn't give me any kind of. It didn't ease my anxiety about where I was at myself.
It never does, dude.
I'm still going back to Joplin, Tulsa to eat shit for 8 people. However, the thing that I thought was empowering about it was that, after performing for 7 people at a time for years, by the time you get to the Improv, it's like you're not thinking about who's in the audience or anything like that. You're just thinking about the worst time you've ever had as a surprise. Like the last time you thought you should quit, and then you go up there, it's okay. Yeah.
I remember the first time in LA that I did an acting showcase in front of agents and managers, which is basically like you go up, you perform a monologue or a scene with a partner in front of agents and managers, and then they decide whether or not they would like to sign you or not. And basically, I sucked. I don't know if I sucked, but I didn't get picked for anybody. The program I was doing the acting program I was doing at the time was mainly geared towards kids and stuff like that, but and like, you know, kind of the teen audience and stuff like that. So I was more, and that's what a lot of the agents, like a lot of their clients were more like younger people and not so much adults. So like pretty much like none of the adults in the program that I did like really got signed, but several of the kids got agents and stuff like that. Because they're young, and that's what Hollywood's all about, is making sure that they can get the kids early on to, you know, just squeeze them dry to make as much money of them as possible. And then that's why there's always so many homeless people on the streets of LA. Because half of them are former child actors that you don't even bet.
I kind of doubt that half of the homeless in Los Angeles.
Half of the homeless people in Los Angeles at one point were on Disney Channel.
Might have told you that. I'm sure that the real
I was on Gilmore Girls.
But
Did you know I was on Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, I kind of refuse to believe that.
Saw some 70-year-old guys like, I was once on Twin Peaks in the 90s.
I was the fourth stooge.
I was the fourth stooge. That guy would literally be like 140 years old at this point.
I don't know, dude.
Oh, I forgot I had my pen on me.
Oh shit, give me some.
No, fuck.
Let's claw on for mine.
LA was the first, living in LA, where it was also a trip when I moved out there, was going from years and years of just buying weed off a dealer, paying like $20 a nug, like $60 an eighth, to like going to stores and I could buy like full ounces of shake for like $30, and like you could find deals where like you could get like $70 ounces, and it was just so good.
Yeah. Oklahoma. Oh shit. Excuse me. Oklahoma is similar to that, except with a weird kind of Facebook marketplace kind of Walmart appeal. Craigslisty, I'd call it. Like you can find like pounds for $50. You don't want that?
Dude, I can only imagine what, like, that's gotta be like the most dirt brown, disgusting weed if they're selling it for $50 a pound.
I mean,
because that's what they did in the 60s.
I'm just reporting, you know.
That's like what they did in the 60s and stuff like that, before like
inflation. Yeah.
Before inflation
Great.
and Nixon.
Yeah.
But no, I remember living in LA. Those first 5 months, recreational still hadn't gone into effect. It started at the beginning of 2018. So when I first got out there, I still had to get a med card to be able to go to most dispensaries, pretty much any dispensary. And it was so easy to get. It cost like $70 in like 20 minutes of my time. But I just thought it was such a trip. Just going in, just buying, just not having to worry about ever like running out of weed. Just always being like, I can just get it anywhere now. It's just so awesome. But California is still not as ahead of the game as Oklahoma is.
Now, you know. When I was trying to buy weed when I was like 15, I had to like go into a strange trailer park, find like a unit, meet some guy that wanted to show me his guns. You know.
There's
nothing like that anymore. It's not. Yeah.
There's an amazing nostalgic
now it's
feeling.
like self-checkout. You go pick the plant yourself. No.
You're encouraged to tip the bud tenders.
We're 10 years away from like a authentic experience where you trim the shit yourself. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Like you'll have like you can go to like a giant weed farm and you get to like have like a weed farm experience for today.
I think it should be kind of illegal. You know, like. Yeah, it should be at least as much fun as tag is, you know?
Tag the game?
Yeah. Someone's coming to get me. You know?
Like the nervousness.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, there is like that.
I definitely feel like that's an integral part of the experience.
There
what
is
are we gonna do? Like be bored longer?
because there was that fun time in the day where you're driving to meet your dealer. You say to your deal, and you have to figure out where you're gonna meet. And like sometimes you have a cool dealer who has a house, like you could just like roll to their house, come in. You could just like come in. Yeah, they're chilling.
Watch Mortal Kombat fight itself.
They're like just chill. Yeah, exactly like that. That was one of my buddies back home. I had several that were just over the years where, for the most part, you could just go into their apartment and stuff like that. But when I first moved here to Arkansas, I had to like go back to that for a while before I got my med card, and then I learned about just being able to go to Oklahoma and stuff like that. And now I've considered like moving to Tulsa and stuff like that.
I wouldn't go so far as to say something like that. I've thought about it. Almost. I don't know.
Should I just move to like Siloam Springs but just live on the other side?
You can't do that. All the real estate is taken up.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the first things that I tried to do like 3-4 years ago.
Try to buy a house?
No. My bosses did. Yeah, no, my bosses did. Ended up screwing my life up pretty bad. It was not fun.
Do you want to get into that?
No. No.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I basically, they were trying to get a jump on the legislation in Oklahoma. You had to live there for 2 years before you could get involved with the marijuana industry.
Oh, I see. They're trying some loopholes.
Well, let's get you an apartment in our name. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. Except I already have this apartment that I'm going to pay for. They're like, don't worry about that. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, fuck.
Y'all got me a place? They're like, yep. And then they did. And then for like 10 days I was homeless. I ended up, doing illegal stuff to raise the funds to not have to do that.
Well,
and then did a version of the Siloam stuff. How many people listen to this?
Not much.
All right.
No one. No one. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
It's like a rap song. Yeah.
No, it's true. That's a good point. There's like some rap. There's always like a rapper nowadays being like that's just admitting to like some stupid crime that them and their boys did.
Yeah, I mean, Killer Mike got arrested for parking tickets at the Grammys. You saw that?
No, I heard it was because he bitch slapped somebody in the audience.
I thought it was parking tickets.
Either way, it's complete bullshit. Like, why would you arrest Killer Mike, the nicest man ever with the nicest name ever?
I don't know. At least he's not like not being Killer Mike. He's not like if Mr. Rogers was like violent or something, like a Cosby or an Ellen or whatever. Putting on the opposite.
Mr. Rogers definitely had his dark days where he came into the studio and he was a bit grumpy. Maybe it was raining and stuff like that, and like some PA came up to him and was like, "Good morning, Fred." And he's like, "It's Mr. Rogers, you little shit fuck."
Well, Mr. Rogers was actually a Marine.
No, was he?
In Korea, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
No, he's a war hero. And then it's like, I'm gonna do Mr. Rogers things.
I never once have seen an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
No. Shows.
It showed. I was raised on a healthy diet of 90s and 2000s Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network. That's also part of one of the themes of this podcast. The big theme of this podcast is movies and television. What are your interests in movies and TV? What do you like to watch?
I like good stuff.
What is good stuff?
I think a good show is when we're watching it and and I can't predict what the next thing, the turn in the plot. I'm your dad. Like stuff like that. Movies kind of similar deal. If I could see where it's going, then I usually don't like it. And that's probably why Breaking Bad is probably one of the greatest shows ever made.
Yep.
It's because you have no idea at all what is going to happen.
I did an episode, an earlier episode of my podcast is me talking about Breaking Bad. And one of the
Look
things...
at an example of a bad show is like fucking Big Bang Theory, dude. Can't laughs, and it's just like, oh my god, and they got like 20,000 seasons. I can't watch that shit.
See, I am the person who will...
Hurts.
The one thing I'll always defend about Big Bang Theory is like... The only thing I really enjoyed about Big Bang Theory is like the fact that it was like a show that like all the main characters were into like cool, fun sci-fi nerd stuff.
Yeah, right.
And
it had a marketing aspect to it.
Yeah, it did have a marketing aspect to it.
Let's make a show for... I don't know.
I just always liked that. I always just liked like the references and stuff.
But Breaking
like
Bad had that too.
Breaking Bad had
it wasn't pivotal to the
Big Bang
plot.
Big Bang Theory is
Like,
is your standard studio comedy. It is your standard like marketed to like we're marketing this to everybody. And that's why it lasted so long. That's why it was so quote unquote beloved by so many people.
To everybody though has always been like slightly offensive to me.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's like this is what you like. Is this what you want? Like the Disney, Nickelodeon, like stuff. Like that's why I like Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Louis C.K., Shane Gillis. Like because they're not trying to appeal to everybody.
Well, yeah, it's
like the appealing to everybody is like kind of gross because it's like you end up doing a bunch of stuff that is hack. It's like I don't know.
A lot of it's hack. Some of it can be fun. A lot of it can be just fun. That's like the thing I've learned in film school is not every, especially not even in film school. It's just like just learning through filmmaking in general. Not every single movie or TV show needs to be like some super serious like artist. Like sometimes art can just be fun, and sometimes there's like a lot of filmmakers that just want, especially like if you're trying to be in a studio system, they're just trying to make fun, stupid movies. Like think of like those like the I'm trying to think what's the name of it, Daddy's Home, that Will Ferrell Mark Wahlberg movie. That was the studio just thinking like how can it be fun, silly, and for the family. It's basically just like family entertainment is just silly, fun entertainment. A lot of it sucks. Like when you're watching it does suck.
Right.
But you can still have fun watching it. You can still have fun with it.
My family entertainment is like my little brother gets in a car accident. Now he's in a coma, so we're there telling him that part of his penis got ripped off because he ruined the 4th of July.
So you are a David Lynch fan?
No, I'm just... I have a different family, I guess.
Well, that's why you're a comedian.
Yeah.
You're a comedian because
because everybody's sick.
Everybody is sick and disgusting except me.
Yeah, that's right. Right, Ben?
I don't know how that is feeling.
Okay. She's in for a treat.
My family...
Not mine.
That's true.
My family is definitely just... My family is definitely... let's see, one half, my dad half, is the typical Irish Catholic New York family. Just alcoholism all throughout. Everyone loves each other and stuff like that, but just definitely a lot of addiction throughout the family and stuff like that. That's why I try to be like the one. I am so thankful I have like skipped past that part, hopefully, where I can get in becoming an alcoholic, because I definitely just don't want to be so bad. I work at a bar every day. I see so many people just coming in that are just like lifelong drinkers and are just like literally their face is as red as my hair at 11 a.m. It just makes me so scared.
Sounds like a productive guy.
Sounds productive.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You gotta have a lot of responsibility to piss it away at 11 in the morning. You can't be just like...
That's true. I always wonder, like, what do these people do that they can afford? Because everything, including...
You gotta have a certain amount of your shit together.
You gotta be able to afford...
Drinking at 11 a.m., that's golf activity. You know? You got all the clubs to do that.
Fuck.
And then, I don't know. Just a thought.
So, Conrad, where...
Not to enable all the morning people.
all the early morning.
Yeah.
Not to anger like the people.
Also, what bar is open at 11 in the morning?
A lot of bars.
A lot of bars.
I work at Walk-Ons in Rogers.
I'm asking
We're open at
sincerely.
11 in the morning.
Okay,
We open right at 11. So if you want to come in,
No, I don't.
airports.
Airports.
Airport
Well,
bars.
airports is not fair because airport time does not exist.
Do you think like people back before pre 9/11 when you could just anybody could just walk through security and go to the gates? Do you think there are people that just went to airports because they wanted to drink at 6 in the morning?
No, because airport usually kind of not near other shit.
I think there's
I mean, for liability reasons,
I think there definitely had to be
Couldn't
some
get airport insurance if it was too close to a school.
airport insurance.
I don't know, dude.
Well, it's true. I've never seen an airport close to a school. There was
any other shit. I mean, I don't know.
Well, there was a cool back in
America.
Back in Buffalo, the Buffalo airport. When I was younger, there was a restaurant right at the end of the runway. So it was kind of cool. It was you go to the restaurant, you can just sit there and watch the planes take off. The building's still there, but it hasn't been used in many years. I guess a lot of people didn't enjoy, loud jet engines flying over them and buildings shaking a little bit.
I think that's part of the reason. While they're
trying to enjoy their meal.
Yeah, it's also part of the reason why all the real estate near the airport is cheaper.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's the people here in Fayetteville. There's an active
Did you grow up near an airport?
I mean, it was 20 minutes away.
All right, not near. Okay, cool.
Yeah, not near at all.
You're good.
And that's 20 minutes by freeway.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
Minnesota.
Minnesota? Did you grow up in the burbs?
Yes.
What kind? What kind of burbs are we talking about? Are we talking about like
a Norman Rockwell painting, rolling hills, identical houses.
Identical houses. Okay, I hate that shit.
Not identical, but mostly.
Yeah,
roughly similar. I don't know, sort of here, except for colder.
Well, I grew up in Buffalo, so I definitely grew up in a colder environment.
Yeah.
I had we had the Great Lakes, so we just had that natural snowmaking just pounding us all times.
Well, I mean, Minnesota's it's not known for being warm.
Well, Minnesota, you got a lot of pond hockey.
What's the coldest you've ever been outside?
Minus 15, minus 20, something like that.
All right. One time, Red Bull came to town and they were sponsoring a pond hockey tournament.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it happened to be on the coldest day of winter that year, and it was -30. And they went on with the thing. All the free Red Bull you could drink. I ended up taking a slap shot of the knee. And the thing about it was whenever you were out there skating at -30, the rules were the same as if you're swimming in the ocean. It's you keep moving and you get to live. And if you stop, you're going to die. And after a few hours, we all came into the ice house and every follicle of hair that you had frozen and turned white. It was crazy. Everybody looked old. It was funny.
Well, I grew up skiing, so I grew up flying down the hills, but I was usually wrapped up, so only parts of your face and shit got cold and stuff like that. Never played pond hockey because one, I suck at hockey. Two, I'm not that fast on skates, and three, I just naturally suck at most athletics. But I do remember one year, it was my senior year of high school, this pond in my neighborhood froze over enough where during December where people were able to build a cool sweet pond hockey arena, and people were able to run lights and stuff out to it. And during the day it was just kids would play hockey on it, but then at night it just turned into a place teenagers could go and drink and smoke and stuff like that. So it was pretty fun just hanging out there a couple nights, just drinking whatever beer 17-year-olds could scrounge up, and shitty dirt weed out of I think we're smoking can't just probably whatever shitty blunt wraps we could afford and shit like that. That was always fun. Bronson's? Never heard of a Bronson. Trying to think what Dutch Masters. Dutch Masters. That's what I was trying to think of. Dutch Masters.
You've made quick work of that coaster.
Yeah, it's just my ADD, man.
You know those things cost like 25 cents a piece?
Fuck. Think Renaga's gonna be pissed at me?
Yeah, he's probably gonna be furious.
Oh man.
No, yeah.
Do you think he's gonna be more mad at me for this than he was at his roast?
Well, I don't know. They haven't really fixed the wall yet.
What's that from, by the way?
That was an improv troupe.
And was that part of the improvisation? Is like, hey, I'm gonna punch a hole in the wall.
Some guy just came through the wall. Like he fell down.
Oh man.
Oops.
So in all of your years of comedy, like, has anyone ever like come up and try to attack you on stage for something you said?
Yes.
What was it like?
Dodging a glass.
Dodging? Oh, someone tried to throw something at you?
No, it wasn't me. It was another performer. But it was my shit that they ended up like fucking up.
Your equipment?
Yeah.
Oh, what did this performer do? Why did this performer get a
Well, the short
glass?
story is that he heckled everybody, and as soon as somebody said something back to him, he decided to turn violent. But the long story goes is that he was in a custody battle with his wife, and he was working 3 jobs and getting his wages garnished, and still not able to make rent and all this other stuff.
Sounds like a fun dude.
I don't know. I mean, he's all right.
I mean, if you're gonna be up there and you're gonna be heckling the entire crowd at a comedy show, like, you know, you can't, like, if that's your plan, you can't like not expect, like, you know, someone's gonna maybe get a little pissed at you.
Well, yeah,
if that's your plan.
There are consequences to your actions. You know, if you say something that comes off as bullying towards another person, then you should expect that they might say something back to that. At least that.
I'm gonna talk about bullying tonight. I'm gonna try some jokes tonight about when I was bullied as a kid.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to look back and stuff like that, realizing bullying, you know, maybe had some adverse positive effects that we don't think about.
I would say mostly positive effects, actually.
I mean, there are definitely certain aspects to bullying that do suck, like, you know.
Yeah, I have people feeling bad. Yeah.
Like, not every bit of bullying is like, but it's like one thing, like when I've been in therapy my entire life since I was a little fucking kid. I've always had a therapist to talk to.
Huh.
And it was really starting like 18, like once I was out of public school, I was out of public school long before that, but telling my therapist, like, I realized that so much of my quote unquote bullying from kids was like them reacting to me being such an obnoxious fucking attention seeking kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's just like, especially working at the YMCA at the time and seeing other little kids doing the exact same things I used to do, and then just seeing kids react, and then that kid like saying like, they're bullying me, they're picky on me. It's like, no, they're just pissed at you because you won't shut the fuck up and leave them alone when they just asked you nicely at first. Like, dude, it's like they don't hate you, they just want you to like leave them alone and stuff like that. And I didn't know that as a kid. It also would have helped if, like, learning as a kid that I did have Asperger's, that might have helped a little bit as a child.
I don't know. I've heard it go both ways. I think the current prevailing theory. I can't remember whose comedy bit it was, but yeah, just if your kid has Asperger's, don't tell him. Just don't tell him.
That's true.
And then he cites his sources. There's this one guy that he knows that like has Asperger's, and then he lists all this other shit that he has.
Well, we're starting to learn that like basically everybody in the world knows somebody who's autistic or is just autistic themselves. Like, it's gonna be the future. Like, the spectrum is just gonna grow into like everybody's on the spectrum.
That's definitely.
It's a tree that is growing very fast.
Yeah. No.
And I'm one of the people that like I'm not.
Progressive.
And I will state this on the podcast for the record. What I learned about my autism, I went through a doctor and like did several hours of testing and stuff like that.
Yeah, notarized.
Got notarized and stuff like that. I'm not one of these
official.
I'm not one of these WebMD comedians.
Yes. Like me.
Because we both know autism is very hot in the comedy community these days, and we know several who are probably on the spectrum and don't know it.
50-50.
Ah, man. So to wrap this podcast up, it's been an interesting experiment and stuff like that. We're about 45 minutes. Where do you want to go with comedy? What's your end game in this?
I would like to not have to retire. You know, not that I'd have passive income, but it'd be really cool to like have a skill where I could go to a place and then go be myself for 2 hours, or whatever. And then not do that. I mean, that seems like. As far as what that means, I mean, I'm not like. I don't think I'm like TV show movie guy or anything.
You don't think you ever want? Have you ever tried acting?
One time in like high school, I did this like fake thing.
Because I know for a fact if you went out to Hollywood, like if you sign up for an extras casting agency, you would definitely be cast in like some nice things. You have a unique look.
Me pushing a cart.
But like I think like you would like they would put you in like an all black outfit and you would be like a henchman kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you would make a great background. Like if in Star, like you would make a great. You would be some sort of imperial something in Star Wars.
You're
like
totally
all the Disney
hench, dude. Yeah, I could shoot lightning out of my hands.
Like you've never had like
That's
any.
not like extra shit. Extra shit's like getting shot by the laser.
But you ever think about like maybe
getting
like
run
you
over
could
with a steamroller.
ever have an idea for like a movie or like a screenplay at least or something like that?
Not really. No, I mean not so much as. I look at it like this. It's like if I'm looking at my joke book, it's basically like an annotated journal, you know. And the songs that I have are a lot like that too.
Okay.
And I just kind of look at art as like this thing that you do, and you do it because you love it, and then whatever it is that you do, whether it's under the umbrella of art being like painting, songs, skits, fucking film shit, whatever. Like that eventually, other people start to see the value in what you're doing too. And then once you get there, it's like, why would you ever stop doing that? Whatever that is.
God damn, dude, that was really deep.
Well, I mean,
I'm so high right now. It's hard to take in. It's hard to take in.
I took a microdose, but like, short answer is it's like find something that you like doing, and then do it for a long time, and then like my theory with stand-up is like I started doing it because I was frustrated trying to start a band in order to have a band.
You are a good musician. You are a good guitar player.
Well, thanks.
And you have a good voice.
Yeah. Well, I used to be just a singer, and I need to have like support around me, and having to depend on other people is one of the reasons I got into comedy. Is because at least if I'm going to start from zero, which most musicians aren't willing to do, after you spend 10 years to play something good enough to get paid $20 at a bar, you don't start that thing over in front of people.
And you're not stooping to the level of like, I'm just going to be a cover musician.
Well, that's what so here's the thing. It's like if you're trying to like go pro as a musician, getting any gig that you can, like what you're looking for is the coffee shop bar act, right? And at least around here, from the most successful people that do consistent gigs like that by themselves, you need to have 2 to 3 to sometimes 4 hours worth of material. And I don't know anybody who's like starting off in their like artistic career that has I walk out on Santana an hour 3.5. I don't give a fuck. Like that's too much, And
that's a lot.
So the question with like doing your stuff or doing anybody else's stuff, I mean, it's more like nobody gives a shit about anything that you write as a musician. You have to basically like, this is a Toby Keith song, rest in peace, and then you do an original.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a cool point. I mean, for me, I think I stated before in the podcast, and I'll probably keep saying it again. Like, I start off 18 being like, I want to be an actor. I want to be in movies and TV because I've just always grown up loving just watching movies and TV all day. And then from there, it's like I learned I want to write screenplays, and then like I learned I want to learn how to make movies, and went to film school and moved to LA and spent years in Buffalo working on fun independent stuff and learning.
Take your meds, dumbass,
process
today at 5:30.
Oh, that was my. Oh yeah, that's an old reminder. I've been off my meds for a long time, dude.
Oh, that's what's going on.
Oh yeah, so that's the reason. That's the reason, dude. I've been off my meds for a long time. No, that was from when I first moved to Arkansas like 4 years ago. It was when the pandemic first started, and I was therapist is wanted me to start taking all these different meds, and I just had to remind myself, and then I put in the phone, remind myself, just take your meds, dumbass. But then I got off my meds, and I've started doing stand-up comedy ever since.
Oh,
and
been about a year.
It's been about a year.
Since you've changed your reminders in your calendar.
No, it's been many years.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Conrad, for doing this. I hope you will be able to do it again at some point. You're my first live guest.
Wow.
I want to get all the other local comedians on just because I need content, and I'm a whore. I'm untalented.
This app is totally different than whatever I thought this would be.
Yeah, it's a cool app. It apparently only gives me up to 60 minutes of recording time right now.
That's hilarious.
But that's why I got to figure out something else because I want to be able to do longer interviews.
Yeah,
it gives 2 hours.
Well, I'll tell you, you got to buy 4 hard drives. You got to get a recorder. You got to get a tripod. You got to get this.
I think I have some of that stuff because I did also try. I also briefly learned. I briefly was trying to learn about voice acting, so I have these machines in my room that I forget the names of what they are. I'll show them to you sometime, and maybe you can tell me if they're good or not.
Yeah. Send me a picture.
All right, Conrad. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
And from here, you and I are going to go do open mic, and we are going to try and have a good time. Thank you for listening to Imagination Fun Time, folks, and tune in next time.